Welcome, everybody. Joe Tarnowski with ECRM here, and I have with me Cheryl Nyman, who's the owner of For Your Table Consulting. And we're going to talk about how restaurants and grocery stores, and actually food retailers of all kinds, can collaborate to kind of weather the storm during the pandemic. So, Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us. And before we get started, because I think this is very relevant, can you give everybody a little bit about your background as well as your company?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for having me. This is an exciting afternoon for my company. Basically, I started in retail. I'm from Chicago. I started as a checker for Dominic's Food Store and worked my way through high school and first year of college, and then transferred to Kroger, Houston, and the Southwest Division, and wound up staying for a wonderful 30 years on the operations side at store level, and then a buyer and category manager. So I'm just really thrilled with servicing the customer for that long. And then through the transitions and changes at Kroger, we decided to switch gears, and I went over to food service for 8 years. Same thing, buyer and category manager. So after that 8-year run with the restructure at food service, I had customers saying, hey, I really need you to help me grow my business at retail. And I think, as you've seen, Joe, and for all the folks out there, retail and food service are really starting to come together. Mm-hmm. I mean, so many touch each other and quite frankly have for years, and now you're going to see more of it. And I guess it's fortunate and unfortunate times that we're in, but I think it's bringing those two, energies together even closer. I was with Gordon Foods for the 8 years in Houston, and everybody is working together. And yes, absolutely, to call each other and say, hey, I'm either loaded with too much of this or I have too little of this, and can you two help me? So. Mm-hmm. You're exactly right, Joe. We worked together to help those folks, and that was in the very beginning of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. There was more of a emergency situation to be handled, and now that some of that has settled down, we're really seeing some of the needs and wants and the changes of the customer profiles, not only at food service but at retail, and quite frankly, some of them are probably here to stay.
I think so. I agree. And so For Your Table Consulting, could you tell us some of the things that you do with that company?
Sure, absolutely. So basically, we are a full service company. What we definitely do is take all of our strengths from buying and category management, and especially the product knowledge base, to either discuss with our chefs or restaurant owners, or grocery retail side, or bring the two together. So I'm sure you've heard the fun story, I think nationwide, is Whataburger ketchup, because I live in Houston, Texas right now, so you'll have to bear with my story. But Whataburger ketchup put their ketchup in H-E-B grocery stores, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of things that we just put those two together and help along the way. So if you need help with a UPC code, believe me, I have some chefs that are like, I need help finding a UPC code. Mm-hmm. So if you do, we are there for you. Your packaging needs, FDA information, anything that the customer is really looking for. Some are already well along the way, mm-hmm. and they just need another phase to say, I've never called out a buyer or category manager, Cheryl, I need you to help. So again, we could take it from start to finish or middle of the road, whatever you need as a customer.
Funny you mentioned Whataburger. A friend of mine lives in the neighborhood. He grew up in Texas. Yeah. And since he can work virtual now, he's going back to Texas for a few months, and he said the first thing he's going to do is get a Whataburger. So I'll have to try it one of these days when I get down there. So these are tough times for restaurants. Yeah. Groceries having it a little better because we all have to eat, and because the restaurants are having such challenges. Yeah. And you have the no indoor dining. Like here in New York, we have no indoor dining, right. And the outdoor dining is, it's getting cold. Nobody, right. You have some people are doing it, but I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable sitting and eating and drinking in a winter coat.
Right.
So on the warm days, yes, I'll be out there, and I see it's sparse. Some are coming up with some good outdoor solutions because we can, dine in the street. They have some areas that they can put outdoor dining. Um, what are you seeing among your restaurant customers and the challenges that they're facing?
Right. Well, I will share in Texas, of course, I'm sure everyone knows it's a lot warmer here, but we do have a winter and we do have a rainy season and we do have hurricane season. So basically we are lucky, we are fortunate, and we all feel that and appreciate it, that we have a little more out dining experience than most. And so we are taking advantage of that. I do want to share that if you have the opportunity to come together with a local mom and pop, or even a convenience store, there's some really nice areas to say, can I come together with you and do a pop-up event? If you have a food truck, if you have a tent, there's so many different avenues. I have two of my barbecue companies bring their pit. I mean, so again, if you can open up your parameters and really put together something that says, hey, can we work together on a project to where I can use some of your space? We actually have a very large retailer that we're working with for 10 months straight now. And my company also assists writing the schedule for both of those companies to say, I have a barbecue business. We can serve sandwiches inside your store. Can I use some of your store space? So you could be inside the store. And it's fun for everybody. The customer is having a ball. They're like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite restaurants. So, believe it or not, a lot of people want to see you outside of your restaurant. Yep. So those are the kind of things I want to share. There are, we're all depressed at times, but let's try and think outside the box. Open up our minds and work with some other people in the community to put those things together. And that's exactly what we're doing.
And that's really why what started this whole podcast is the fact that I was posting regularly and about all the challenges restaurants are facing. And I just threw it out there. Hey, why aren't you guys working with grocers? So it's like, we have in my neighborhood, we have all these grocery stores, all of these smaller restaurants, but you're taking that, you're doing that, and you're taking it a step further. So can you outline some of the ways that you've worked together to bring some of the restaurant offerings into these other venues, kind of, the pop-ups or prepared meals and so on?
Right. Absolutely. So let's talk about two things. So I'll start with the pop-ups because they're easier. And the pop-ups are totally on the restaurant. You're really just using the store space. And so that's a huge plus, because you could say, hey, can I use your front patio? We will make sure we stay away from the door. We'll clean up our area after we leave. Please make sure you tell the stores what you need. Work diligently with your store management team. They really value that. So, and the best thing is have fun. Post it on Facebook. Use your social media platform. Every restaurant has Facebook or Instagram. We have had a ball with that. Customers are following us because of that. They're like, where are you going next? So it's really kind of fun that you get some followers going from store to store to see where you're going.
Can you tell me some details on the pop-up itself? Sure. What do they look like? What's involved? And what is in it for the grocer? Are they getting traffic? Are they getting a cut?
Well, they're getting a lot of community recognition because the grocer is saying, hey, I've got 30 stores. I'm also working with an incredible 30-store chain here that's privately owned in Houston, and they've allowed us, it's Food Town, they've allowed us to come into the stores or use their parking lot for a pop-up. And basically, it's just what I said. We write a schedule. It could be a week out, a month out. You could take your slowest day at the restaurant. Sometimes it's Wednesday. That doesn't mean it's going to be the best day at the store either, but there's a lot more traffic at the grocery store on one of your slowest days, because a lot of people are coming in just to get milk, bread, etc., right? So keep that in mind, that you're still getting some good traffic. And then you could either set up inside, again, work with your store team. I go to the main office first of the store and say, hey, we'd really like to do this. The Houston Chronicle actually heard about what we were doing, and they embraced it and said, look at what the store is doing to help the restaurants so they don't have to furlough their folks, and they're getting their sales. So basically, it's just putting those two together and making it a powerful partnership to help the community. And so that's really what the grocer is getting out of it too. And I could tell you too, Joe, this is going to take it even further. It's going to go down the road to say, let's go back to our Whataburger ketchup story. Eventually, your restaurant might want to package a product. Eventually, it's something to think about. If you have a signature dish or a sauce or a dessert that your community is just crazy about, it's something to think about. So those are the kind of things we're sharing with our community members as well.
Now the pop-ups, and you're right. I mean, it's almost like a sampling right there.
Yeah.
But so the pop-ups, are they elaborate? Are they just a tabletop with some heat trays?
It really depends. No, you can't do that. We actually have everything prepared in a package.
Gotcha.
And I'm sorry I didn't elaborate on that earlier, Joe. You asked me to. We've had some, if we're inside the store, we use elaborate packaging with the nutritional label on it. Now, they've lightened up on the nutritional label, so it's not as elaborate as it has to be if you're traditionally going into a store. So you just need calorie content, salt, and allergens, etc. Okay. You can print that out in your restaurant. Make sure you label your packaging properly. We've done like our top 3 or 4 menu. You don't need a big selection, maybe your top 3 or 4. We've decorated our tables almost like we do at the food shows. And your booths, decorate your table, put your balloons. You do have to have your own employee, and you do have to ring up your own sale. It will not go through the grocery register because it's your sale. Okay. So that's the other thing. Be prepared to have an employee there for 10 to 6. I highly recommend to cover lunch and dinner.
And that's a good thing though, because you're paying somebody. You're
right.
That's somebody who's not losing a job because they're working there. Yeah, that's
right. You're employed too. For the 9 restaurants that I've represented in this pop-up event for the last, we're almost at a year. We have not furloughed an employee. So I have to share, that's great news. And again, some of them are inside, some are out. You can work with your store to make sure you get their recommendations and their expectations. They might say, hey, you can use this one table, that's all I have. Or they might give you a full case. I have some stores that are giving us an entire case to display meals on the go and keep them there for the 3 days that they're in dating. So again, make sure your food's fresh and presentable. Be careful with your dating. Make sure you post your nutritionals and just have so much fun talking to the customer.
And there's so many benefits to that. And it sounds like you could get as creative as you want. I mean, almost like you would with an in-store demo. It's, you'd be elaborate as you want, but it's getting your message. It's engaging customers. It's exposing the restaurant to potential new customers that they may not even get a chance to see. Right. So I think there's a lot of benefits aside from just also another revenue stream during this time.
Exactly. And I will tell you, we've had customers say, I'm so glad you're usually about 45-minute drive for me, but now that you're in the store today, I came to see you. And so there's where the store is also getting the benefits as well, Joe, to tag on to what you asked me earlier. They're going to pick up milk or something. Everybody's in store to purchase. They're also there to talk to you at the restaurant. I want to mention, bring your to-go menus with you. Bring things with you to really shout your restaurant when you're in the store and do a lot of pass-out activity. You might even have a coupon that says, if you come see me at the restaurant in the next 30 days, we give you, a $5 coupon off your meal or something like that. So again, you're exactly right. What you mentioned earlier, bring those two together so they come see you at the restaurant after they leave the store in the next 30 days or so. Yeah.
And most restaurants have digital capabilities to manage the payments through their phone, or most of the restaurant apps now, or the inventory payment apps can handle that.
Yeah, they do. You could even get a square. You could just put a square on your phone, and it's a very easy transaction. But I can't stress enough, make it easy on yourself. Bring one employee, bring the employees that talk the best to customers, bring fun, happy people that will, represent who and what you are. And then again, your menus. I have one of my customers that actually sells one of his barbecue rubs on the table. He does not compete with anything else in the store. And they said, sure, go ahead. I've got another guy that brings all his baseball caps from his restaurant, and they sell out.
Yep. I mean, you can be as creative as you want. You never know what's going to work. And the cool thing is, there's, like you said, it's a chance for them to potentially get their products in the store too, if they're looking to do that.
If you're going that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the other question I had was, could you talk a little bit about the types of restaurants that are involved in this and sizes? And, you don't have to name anybody, because I know, some may not want to be named, but and then also the types of grocery stores, because I think there's no limit. It could be a large one or a small one.
Yeah, there isn't a limit, Joe. We've actually opened our parameters. We have, believe it or not, this is a great addition. I wanted to make sure I mentioned to your group today. We have 2 hardware stores that invited us to the parking lot for a table. I mean, and I want to tell you the good thing about that. And I'm going to tell you, it's an Ace Hardware. There's a lot of large hardware stores that are nationwide that have gift shops inside their stores. They're now selling 2 of our barbecue sauces. So again, don't think it's just grocery. Open up your mind you might even shop at one of these places. Some of the athletic stores, Dick's Sporting Goods, Academy Sporting Goods, they all have barbecue sections now, and seasonings and rubs and sauces in their hunting season area. So hunting and fishing season area. So we're talking to them now. We're saying, hey, can we come talk to you? Can we show you some of our products? And we're here to do a pop-up if you need us. The other good thing is, it's great to share. We have very large chains that have taken us on, national chains, which we're very thankful for. That's where we started. I mentioned earlier the 30 chain local. Don't forget your local folks. They want to support local restaurants as well. We brought up the sporting goods stores and the hardware stores. All of those are open to support you as well. And then basically we've gone from one parameter to the other. I've got white tablecloths, and I've got a Vietnamese company that did incredible. They actually did 800 meals in 3 days.
Wow.
At one store inside, servicing the customer meals on the go. And they only had, I think we did an $8 lunch package and a $10 lunch package. So again, if you just put together your top 3 or 4 menu items that your customers love when they come to the restaurant, make it fun. Go ahead and package that and make it fun.
And the pop-up model seems like it's a lot easier to execute rather than, let's say, if I was a restaurant trying to get my products in the prepared meal section of the grocer. That's a lot more work to do than to just open up it's doable, but it would be a lot more work.
A lot more. Burns Barbecue is one of my largest customers. They have done an absolutely dynamic job. I want to highlight them for a couple reasons, because you asked me to mention also some of the other customers I use. Barbecue's fun. Yes, we're in Texas, so it's a lot of fun. But
hey, we love barbecue here in New York too.
I know you do. But if you have burgers, if you have, sandwiches, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of things customers are looking for, but I can't stress enough to make it fun. So what Burns Barbecue did, we actually have a customer following on our Facebook and Instagram now. And what we started doing was asking the customer, where would you like us to go next? And the floodgates went crazy. So I just want to share all the success stories because you can just make it fun and exciting. And you're going to learn a lot from doing this. You know, a lot of customers actually come talk to you when you're at these pop-ups and they say, I've been eating with you for 4 generations. And, you know, that's kind of nice to know all these things and talk to these people when they have more time in the store to talk to you. And guess what? So do you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
That's a great idea, asking the customers where they should go next. And I like that, kind of making it fun, making it into an event. Right. Where are we going to be next? And if you can find unique places to partner with,
sure.
Like the hardware stores, but I can imagine, you know, especially in Texas, well, today it's snowing over there, but on some of the nicer days, you know, if there's some events at a local park, maybe you could coordinate with them. I don't know, maybe food service, hospital food service. If you can open a pop-up in their cafeteria for the food service, I'm sure they would love some local restaurant food. So it's endless.
It is, Joe. That's what we're finding, and that's why we've added some of these other stores that people are looking at me like, you went to a hardware store? I said, yes, because believe it or not, first of all, they're huge. And, you know, they have a lot of traffic and they're year-round business. You get a lot of seasonal excitement. And so why not? You know, if they're ready to host you, have fun, just have a great time, you know, and I will tell you what else I have to share is the store is excited. The store is so excited that you're coming. They're like, oh, I heard you were coming, you know, from our store manager. So I just want to share that too. We make sure we invite all the employees. Mm-hmm. I make sure I walk around the entire store an hour before we open and say, hey, we're here today. We're serving brisket sandwiches. We do post our menu. Make sure you post your menu. You're going to get a lot of customers asking you for your menu ideas. Mm-hmm. So usually a week in advance, we contact the store teams, the management teams. We come and print out our menus to put on the front doors. We do a lot of communication and excitement, creating this event in the next week, coming soon. We are coming soon. We're coming to see you soon. We give them the date and the time and our menu. And that helps a lot. We learn that up front. So I want to share that with you and your team. We learned that up front, and it's made it a lot easier on us and the customers and the store teams.
It makes sense because if it's a grocery store, people are usually shopping maybe every week. Right. So you want to get ahead of that. You'll get those same customers, except now they know what to expect a week or two down the road.
Exactly. And, you know, we've had very few bumps in the road. You know, if I share anything at all, I basically covered it to just work really close with your store teams. And I've got a lot of store managers that we do a little paragraph to do PA announcements in the store like every hour. And that helps an unbelievable amount. Usually, you know, you might get a customer walk in, you might get 100 customers walk in on the opposite end that never even saw you. But once the team gets on the PA and says, guess who's here today? And they're serving brisket sandwiches for $8, meals on the go. Come eat dinner with us. They all start walking towards you. I'm like blown away. So
that's great.
So like I said, I think the best thing to do is that I can't stress enough, and I'm sorry I'm repeating myself, is to really work close with that store team.
Well, it is important. And you mentioned, you know, there haven't been many bumps in the road, but what are maybe some of the potential challenges that a restaurant may encounter in trying to set this up?
Yeah. I think the most important thing to stress on that point, Joe, is to have the employees prepare, your employees at your restaurant. Again, I mentioned earlier, bring the folks that are really comfortable in front of others. We had a few that just stood there and they kind of froze, and they're not used to that. They're not used to that environment. So we learned that up front, and that's not taking anything away from that person either. that's just not their environment. So make sure you talk to your employees up front that, hey, are you sure you want to go to the store today and represent us? Because I will tell you that was one of the largest challenges in the beginning. And then the other challenge was once the owners walked away, they started playing on their phones or doing something else. So again, there's something and you have that in your restaurants and in your stores anyway. So again, it's more of a very engaged environment in the store. You want to really spend that time to get the sale in the store. So
you want a salesperson. You want someone who's good at selling. Right. Maybe an incentive would work too. I mean, a certain
we've done that. Thanks for mentioning that. We have done incentive programs. We've done some small bonus programs for them. If you can get to this point this week, we'll up the bonus for you. So there's a lot of great things you can do at your restaurant for your employees to really push them in the store to talk to customers.
And I'm sure most restaurants have that server who's a character that, gets along with everybody. We certainly have them in my neighborhood. In fact, there are some of them are actors, and they, when the holidays come and Halloween and all that, they really do it up. So I think it's an opportunity for them to really get out there and help drive those sales. But I think it's a great idea. And it sounds like this is something that would work well even after the pandemic.
I think so. I think we're going to continue. And thanks for asking that. We are looking at continuing that. And a matter of fact, the Burns Barbecue that I mentioned earlier, we're actually taking some of our events to another level because of it. Because the news media got involved, and we didn't even reach out for that. It kind of came our way. It's brought more contact information to the owners of the restaurant to say, hey, can we do something with you too? He's also helping the community. And I want to share that because give back, we're giving back. So now we have a few of the customers from the grocery store saying, hey, we all did this together and now we need to feed the community. So we've now done 4 community events to help feed the elderly in some of the areas that were hit the hardest and cannot get outside during pandemic. So give back, do some things that really make a difference in your immediate area. Houston's extremely large. We have a 57-mile radius, I believe, and most people don't realize that. So again, all the restaurants are in different areas. They cover different areas of the city, and they're all giving back. So I want to mention it really does help. And also we're doing some shared events. So I have again, Burns Barbecue, he invites sometimes other restaurants to come and serve a dessert. I mean, what a great idea.
Why not?
So that's right. So if you don't have something on your menu and it's not competing with you, and you could really open up your parameters to help somebody else, maybe the small bakery down the street, use his hamburger bun. We're doing that also. Use somebody else's hamburger bun on one of your new signature dishes and let them get some recognition and some help as well. So, and those are the kind of things that I'm really seeing are the growth right now and going into 2021.
I think that's offers some good collaboration opportunities and co-marketing opportunities. So let's say you have the main dish from one restaurant, but then you have a bakery that provides the dessert. Maybe you have coffee from another place that specializes, a coffee shop down the road. And that you have the co-branding, and I think it opens up a lot of good opportunities. But and it sounds like a lot of fun too. Putting these things together.
It really is. It is taking some gloom and doom and making just a nice day. And I'm really here to tell you, we've had 0 complaints. We've had. Everybody's wearing their mask. Everybody's social distancing. We're serving. Obviously you can't sample during COVID. Well, you can't in Texas anyway, and I would assume that's probably everywhere in the United States. I bet I'm right on that one. We're wearing gloves. We're doing everything we're supposed to. So you could, you can still have fun with it, even though you have some of those, what some people think are obstacles, you could still have fun.
Yeah, and we're all in the same boat. So nobody would be really surprised by all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So just to summarize, because we covered a lot of ground, and just like some check boxes for restaurants that are looking to get into this. So I think first would be to scope out the potential venues, whether it be a grocer, and talk to their owners or whoever's running it. Then from there, maybe put together a limited assortment of meals for that.
Absolutely. And make it make it easy on yourself. Make it easy on your establishment at your place. Your folks are going to have to pack up, like I said earlier, we had one pack up 800 meals in 3 days. So make sure you're ready. Make sure you're ready for some big numbers. If you're very well known, you're probably going to be lined up. My barbecue place is 65 people in line before we even open the door.
Wow.
So be ready, just in case. So don't put too much on yourself, your staff, back at the restaurant. So that's why we tried to keep it to the top 3 or 4 items that we really thought were going to make a difference for, the customer coming to see us in the store and our restaurant staff. So.
Gotcha. So then third would be pick the appropriate staff to handle it.
Yeah.
Then the marketing and promotion. So all of those things you talked about in the store, outside of the store, social media, over the speakers, every type of communications. Do it ahead of time, market ahead of time, and have fun and enjoy it.
Exactly. And again, you're helping so many people you don't even realize. We have elderly people come. We've had people come and say, please let them go first in line. We get first responders. We've had people, I had a fire truck pull up with 6 firemen that were on lunch break, and we treated them to lunch, and they didn't expect that. But again, you'd be so surprised how much the community is coming together to support these things that you don't think about up front.
Yeah.
So,
And then also, I think that after that engagement too, that continuous engagement that you mentioned, getting feedback from them, turning it into where do you want us to go next? It's almost a gamification of it, where's Waldo kind of thing.
Yep. So we're going to continue into 2021. We didn't expect this. So I guess to at least give you some good news, you're exactly right. We're going to continue our schedule. We did take a holiday break from the store. The store agreed with us. Even though my barbecue place is outside in the pit, it doesn't matter. They both needed a holiday break to service their immediate customer.
Yeah.
The restaurant's busy too at the holiday.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of meals on the go here at our restaurants. We're doing a lot of family packs. We're seeing family packs are getting the most recognition, curbside, especially meals for 2 or meals for 4. Those are the largest. We're just so excited about the orders that we're getting. So
are the meals to go different than the pop-ups?
You can kind of work both.
Okay.
You can kind of work both if you want. One of my restaurants has actually used the pop-up to take catering orders. So you could, hey, come pick up your lunch from me today, and you could bring home a meal for 4 for dinner, and it's working great. So we're doing that as well. We've got full slabs of ribs. We sold 30 full slabs of ribs in one afternoon.
I'm getting hungry just thinking
I know.
all this rib talk.
Me too. But again, you have to, make sure you critique it to your restaurant. Again, I know I keep stressing this, but that way it makes it easy on yourself. He's able to do 30 slabs of ribs a day. It was no problem whatsoever. And then to put those on the pit, we have a giant pit. I mean, we bring it on a trailer.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So we're able to accommodate those 30 slabs of ribs. But if your customer can pre-order, why not? I mean, it's a great opportunity. Come get your brisket for lunch and your ribs for dinner.
There you go. Yeah, take care of them both in one shot. And
Right.
a lot of the places around here do catering, so
Yeah.
they already have
Yeah.
the capability of ramping up if they
Yeah.
need to.
Right.
And then,
Yeah.
like you said, you just scale it as you have to.
Right. And that's why I say bring all your material to give the customer with you at your pop-up if you decide to do a pop-up. Again, they might not realize you could bring them your menus on the go or your curbside menu. They might not, or your catering menu.
Yeah.
They might not realize you do all that. Sometimes people just are in a hurry and they don't realize all the things you have to offer.
So you have to make sure you cover all your bases in
Right.
terms of the marketing
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
follow up, because it's just like you said, this, in addition to getting sales, it's also a marketing opportunity for
Right.
your other things.
Right. Yeah. So,
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. This has been really fun and really informational. In fact, I'm going to be sharing this with my friends who own restaurants in the neighborhood, because I think
Good.
it's a lot of good practical ideas for them too. And I
Good.
think there's a lot of opportunities around here, which I'm sure is the case for the neighborhoods of anybody who's going to be watching this.
It's a nationwide issue, and absolutely, I can see this happening anywhere I go. A matter of fact, we're taking this to other states. And if anybody would like to call me, I would love to take a call and give my, updates or anything that we can help them with. We would love to share that. It's my pleasure to help somebody else.
Well, what's the best way to reach you?
Probably my cell phone. It's 832-477-0277. And my email is ctniman@gmail.com.
Excellent. And we'll have both of them in the posts and in the follow-up blog as well.
Good. Thank you for everything, Joe.
Thank you so much. This has been great. And I look forward to seeing you at one of our sessions down the road.
I'll be there.
All right.
We're looking forward to it as well. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you, sir.